Hey everybody, in today's video I'm going to be showing you the Barometer Glance on the Garmin Forerunner 955 watch. And I'm using the solar version. It shouldn't matter whether you've got the solar or non-solar version. So one of the things you can do on your watch face is you can always set the barometer as a value. So I can look here and I can see that my barometric pressure is 1015 hectopascals, and then this line here is basically your barometric pressure trend indicator over the last 6 hours. I can see that mine hasn't really changed in the last 6 hours. The other thing you can do if you want more information about your barometer is you can download what's called the Barometer Glance. You don't have to do anything special. The Glance is going to be delivered on your Forerunner 955. And I'll say this, it's very similar to the Phoenix 7 or other Phoenix models in terms of going and viewing it. So I've already got it downloaded. Let's go ahead and we're going to press the up or down button. That will take us into our glances. And you can see in my example, I'm showing my Barometer Glance. It's the top one in my glance. Actually, it's the bottom one, so when I press the up button, it takes me to the bottom of my list. This is basically what your glance looks like, and you'll see that it's very similar to what we saw on the watch face data field, except I can actually see a decimal point reading, and it's constantly changing. If I press the up or right button, or if I use the touchscreen functionality and touch it, I can see my trend over the last 6 hours. Now, that last 6 hours can be customized. While I'm in my barometer, if I press and hold the menu button, I can arrow down to Barometer Options. I can choose that. I can calibrate my barometer. I can change my plot. So where we were looking at 6 hours, I can change that to 12 hours, 24 hours, or 48 hours. I can adjust my storm alert on the watch. So this watch basically will give you an alert if there's a sudden change in barometric pressure, either up or down. And then you can adjust your sensor mode. So you can basically say, hey, look, when you use the sensor on this watch, just use the altimeter for my barometric pressure sensor, just use the barometer, or auto is going to use whichever of the two it thinks is going to give you a more accurate reading. A lot of times it'll use altimeter if you happen to be in an area where your elevation is changing a lot. Other than that, it's probably going to use your barometer. The default here would be to use auto. And then last but not least, you can change your units. So if I didn't want to see it in hectopascals, I could choose millibars, millimeters of mercury, or inches of mercury for my display. I'm going to leave mine on hectopascals. Now when we go back, because I adjusted my plot area, we're looking at the barometric pressure for the last 48 hours. It's very similar to other watches out there. You can basically put it as a data field. You can use the glance or widget depending on which watch you're using. They call it different things. The one thing I'll say about the Forerunner 955 is while it's nice and I've got a nice color display here, there's not any decent watch faces that will show you a trend, at least not delivered by Garmin. If you've ever had or if you've ever looked at the Garmin Instinct or the Garmin Instinct 2, they have a nice watch face that shows you a trend, and one of the options you can put on that trend is your barometric pressure. For the Garmin Forerunner, you're going to have to go out to Garmin Connect and see what you can find out there. I have found a couple that are okay. Let me show you one of them. This one's not too bad. It shows me a trend, but again, it's nowhere near as good as what you find on the Garmin Instinct. If you're somebody who's really into barometric pressure and weather information, the Instinct probably does a better job of displaying it just using the delivered Garmin values. Anyway, that's a quick look at how to use the Barometer Glance. One other thing I should probably show you is while we went to the Barometer Glance, you've also got the option to use the ABC Glance, which will show you your altimeter, barometer, and compass in the same screen. If I go to that one, I've got my compass value up at the top, my altimeter value in the middle, and then my barometer down here at the bottom. And again, once I'm in this one, I can simply go through. There's my altimeter, there's my barometer. It's going to take you basically into the Barometer Glance, but it will also give you your altimeter and compass values as well. That's a quick look at using the Barometer Glance on our Garmin Forerunner 955. I hope the video helps.